Hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Aireonna and I have some interesting news for you. So Chris Sims, as you guys might know, is Kyle Shanahan, 49ers head coach, college best friend. They actually have matching tattoos and they are still unbelievably close. I was just at the owners meeting in Florida, Palm Beach, about a month ago, less than a month ago, and they, didn't leave each other's side the entire night at the cocktail party. So this is what Chris Sims said live on TV today regarding Brock Purdy and his contract extension. If you watched my other videos that came out today, I said that for the 49ers camp and Brock Purdy's camp might be close to getting a deal done. OTAs for the 49ers, the offseason programming, starts tomorrow. If Brock Purdy shows up, that means they're likely close to striking a deal. And if he does not, it means they're still very far apart. The latest report is the 49ers have offered over $50 million per year for Brock Purdy, but that Brock Purdy wants more than 55. If you guys remember, Josh Allen took 55 this offseason. I don't think it is a question to anyone that 49ers Brock Purdy QB is not as good of a quarterback as Josh Allen. So I think it's pretty ridiculous that he's asking for more money than Josh Allen, but that's just me. And apparently it is also Chris Sims. This is what Chris Sims said. Nobody, and I'm paraphrasing by the way, because this is about a 10-minute clip, but no team looks at Brock Purdy as a top 10 quarterback in football. With Kyle as an OC and superstars all around him, he can look top 10-ish. And we did see that his MVP year, the year that they went to the Super Bowl, but they did lose the Super Bowl, but that wasn't all on Brock Purdy, although he definitely did not play his best in that game, but Kyle didn't coach his best. Christian McCaffrey fumbled at the goal line. Trent Williams didn't play well. It was not all on Brock Purdy, but did Brock Purdy overcome? I would say no. He goes on to say, but last year, when the 49ers All-Stars got injured, the team went 6-11. That means you can't pay Brock Purdy over $50 million. He can't elevate a team enough to be worth that. It's a tough situation. They want him to be the franchise quarterback, but if you're paying a quarterback at that position over 50, that means you're going to have to make significant sacrifices. And you, as a team, you have to ask yourself, can our quarterback, in this instant Brock Purdy, overcome those sacrifices? If we can't pay for an O-line, if we can't pay for elite wide receivers, if we can't pay for an elite running back, can Brock Purdy carry you? I, meaning Chris Sims, would say no. I would also agree, no, he can't. And then he goes on to say, I wouldn't even want to pay him over $55 million. He continues to say, it might be too late this offseason. They should have probably done this sooner, but I would ask, why not trade him? Go get someone else and build the team again. You're already in a rebuilding year next year. This much John Lynch and Jed York have admitted to. They're trying to save money, apparently so they can sign Brock Purdy. But if they're already going to be in a rebuild because so many of their veterans have aged out and they're trying to get younger and cheaper, why not make your quarterback younger? You could trade to a top team who needs a quarterback and go get yourself a rookie quarterback or a cheaper veteran. That way you can allocate money to having all-stars. How did Brock Purdy get to the Super Bowl? How did Jimmy Garoppolo get to the Super Bowl? They were surrounded by an all-star cast. Then he goes on to say that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch might hate him for saying this, but that he, once again, would not pay Brock Purdy over 45, and if Brock Purdy refused to show up for 45 a year, which would be more, by the way, if the 49ers decided to make him play out his deal, it would be $5 million this year, and then it would be 50 next year, or 40 next year, 50 the next year. So if they paid him 45 for the 3 years, that would still be more than he would get on the deal that he's supposed to get right now if they were to, make him play it out and franchise tag him. So it'd still be more money, a raise compared to the deal that he's on. However, most quarterbacks assume that they're going to make more than that. I think the only ones who have actually played it out that come to mind is obviously Kirk Cousins played out his deal and was franchise tagged twice. And then Lamar Jackson did choose to play out his final year of his deal. The Ravens didn't franchise tag him though, because he played so well that final year that they ended up extending him. Now, Mike Silver of the 49ers Beat and of The Athletic wrote an article today saying that Brock Purdy might skip OTAs, that he wants $55 million or more than $55 million. So Chris Sims saying 45. I agree with Chris Sims, but if Brock Purdy holds out, then that affects the rest of your team. Also, if Brock Purdy held out, I would really question him as a leader. Like, his deal is not expired, so that would, to me, show a little bit of an ego that I don't necessarily want my quarterback to have. I want my quarterback to be confident and to have self-pride and a sort of ego, but I want that ego to be, yeah, okay, I'll play out my deal and I'll do so well that then you're gonna have to pay me 60 next year because I'm gonna ball out. Not, I believe I'm worth much more than this, so I'm not gonna show up and I'm gonna try to hurt your off season. Like, it's like, oh, you're trying to punish your own team? I don't know if I love that, but do you guys think this is a non-story? I found it interesting because Chris Sims is Kyle's best friend. Now, he clarified that he, didn't get this opinion from Kyle and that Kyle was actually going to be mad that he was suggesting to trade Brock Purdy. But you let me know. Do you think the 49ers should be open to trading Brock Purdy, maybe drafting a Jackson Dart, a Shedeur Sanders? I know a lot of people like Milroe. I don't think Kyle would like Milroe. He's much more of an athletic quarterback and he still has a lot to learn when it comes to the easy layups. He reminds me a little bit of maybe what Trey Lance could have been. I'm not saying, I imagine he'll be better than Trey Lance, but that type of that type of quarterback clearly didn't do well with Kyle. Shedeur is great. He's less mobile, but he's an excellent pocket passer. He can throw down the field, I think Kyle would love Shedeur Sanders. Now, Sanders obviously comes with a big last name and maybe there's too much drama there, but he'd be much cheaper and you could go out and, get wide receivers. You could get offensive linemen. You could get defensive linemen, another guy on the, bookend on the other side of Nick Bosa. I don't think it's completely unfathomable that the 49ers would trade. Now, I don't know who would trade with the 49ers. I think there was a rumor that maybe the Titans would, but the Titans have the top pick. I doubt that they would do that. What about the Saints? I don't think, if you're looking at the Browns need a quarterback, but Brock Purdy can't throw in the rain. The Browns live in, are based in Cleveland, so I don't think the Steelers or the Browns, two teams that do need quarterbacks, neither of them, I think, would trade for Brock Purdy because they have bad weather and Brock Purdy can't play in bad weather. But the Saints could be interesting because they play in a dome. So would the Saints be willing to trade a top pick for Brock Purdy? I'm not exactly sure. And if you, as a fan, let me know in the comments, would you be open to trading Brock Purdy and kind of having that rookie pay scale at quarterback again and investing in talent around him? Or do you want the 49ers to get over themselves, pay Brock Purdy, 55, live with that decision and kind of see how it plays out and make sure he's there starting tomorrow and every single day moving forward at OTAs. A lot of people say that. A lot of people say the 49ers let these things drag out too long. If you watch my video that I just posted, I think that the stuff with Kittle is going on way too long. So I do get that criticism. With Brock Purdy, I'm not exactly critical of the 49ers. I think that they should, I don't think they should pay him 55. That's my decision. That's my, Trevor Lawrence he's making, I think, 52. And I think the Jaguars regret that deal. And if they were both on an open market, that more teams would want Trevor Lawrence. I'm not saying that's right, but I'm saying based on just his skill set, because he hasn't performed at the Jaguars, but the Jaguars have been an awful situation. I think they were both on the open market. More teams would want Trevor Lawrence. Same thing, you look at Tua, you look at Jordan Love. I think those teams regret those deals. When I look at those teams, I think the fact that they're paying their quarterback so much money and their quarterback is, not bad. Tua is a good quarterback. Jordan Love's a good quarterback, but are they good enough to overcome their team not being able to pay for an excellent O-line, not being able to pay for an excellent, pass catcher or running back? Like, I don't think so. I think unless you're Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes, like, it's very hard to justify making that much money. And Josh Allen doesn't even make top of the market money. So I'm not totally against what Chris Sims says, but you let me know. Do you think that part of this does come from Kyle Shanahan, or do you think Chris Sims is all on his own saying this? And if you were the 49ers, would you pay Brock Purdy, make him play out his deal, or what? Let me know. Anyways, love you. Bye.